Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. We got a lot of things to talk about tonight, as per usual. We've got in my thumbnail, of course, Mr. T was on Tucker Carlson. How you doing, Roberto? I hope you got a chance to watch that. How things were going with Mr. T, and even though he has to rehash things over and over, he always throws some tidbits in there for people who may not be paying attention. Hi, Bubba. Hi, Sandy. How are you doing? So Linda's come in. Brighter day. So there's a lot of hints, a lot of things going on. We got Mr. Bragg doing a lawsuit. Hi, Nikki. How are you? Haha, Melinda, Diane. If I brighter day, let's see. We need sunny days in now. Hi, Lone Wolf. How you doing? There's a member of the coffee club. What is it? The Mountaineer Coffee Crowd. There's brighter days. I predicted it. Kim, how are you? So anyway, folks, at least we know President Xi can speak English. He can say repeat, repeat. And Trump told a story when he was having chocolate ice cream with President Xi at Mar-a-Lago in the ballroom, and he decided to send those missiles over to Syria to send a message, 28 of them, or no, it was 50 some of them. They were going to land in 28 minutes. And he went ahead and told Xi at the table there. And that's the only English word he ever heard Xi speak was repeat. Hi, Em. How are you doing? Barb. Welcome aboard, Barb. How are you? Doc, how you doing, Doc Honeycutt? Diane. William. Glad you made it, William. Trying to not to keep people up too late. But I tell you, so many other people are doing live streams. I know everybody wants to, keep up with what's going on, but it seems after 9 o'clock, that's when everybody's got time. Hi, Robert. How are you doing, Robert? B-Dog. Rick, how are you? So I was listening to Mr. T, and he was talking about Joe running in 2024. And the long and the short of it was he just didn't think Joe was going to make it, from what I gathered. Although I did see a preview of this interview earlier today where Trump's comment was, I don't think he can. And it was kind of a teaser video. And I thought about that before Tucker's show came on. Does he mean totally because of his physicality and the way he's handling his advanced age? Or is there another reason that Mr. T thinks that maybe he doesn't think Joe can run? Is it exclusively because of his physical and mental limitations? I don't know. But he was very clear that on the world stage, compared to the people that he had been dealing with, such as Xi and Kim Jong-un, that they are top of the line. They're very intelligent people, and they run a tight ship, and they got their ear to the ground compared to Joe Biden, who is really disconnected. And how many of you all heard before today that Joe Biden was going to Ireland? Put a 5 in the chats if you knew before today Joe Biden was going to Ireland. Or if you didn't. I'm just curious because that's just what I heard. Kathy said 6 feet under. Oh my. Hi, Dottie. How are you? Now we got happy days. Where's brighter days? Hi, Damon. How are you? Ingrid, how you doing? Brighter. Yeah, we got happy days, brighter days. All the good days. Watch somebody come in and say cloudy day. Life under gas. Nice to meet you. Melinda said yes. Okay. This is the first I heard of it. What the last thing you did not know Hunter was going, Julie said. Well, the last I heard, y'all keep answering if you knew he was going to Ireland today, before today. Because last I heard, Joe wasn't going to the coronation for King Charles, because they said the White House said he was elderly and it was too much of a trip, right? Debbie didn't know. I didn't know. So I meant to say when they were talking about Joe not going to this historic event, crowning a new king of England, which hasn't happened for how many years? And them admitting that his physical condition was an issue. I immediately thought of the last time Joe went. Do you all remember where he, what's a delicate term for it? He couldn't control his bodily functions. I'll put it that way. In front of the royal family. He was at a cocktail party and stunk the joint out. Everybody was talking about it. Camilla Parker Bowles, everybody. And even Mr. T brought it up that he confirmed for a fact that Joe did worse than break wind in front of the Pope. He had to change his breeches. And we've got video of him wearing one pantsuit and then taking a little break, a little stinky break, and coming back with a different pair of pants on. So I think that was more the issue with the royal family, that they didn't want to go through that again. And if you do that in front of the royals, you only do it once. So Him says Europe doesn't care for Brandon. Put a 4 in that A next time, Ian. True to fire. That's great. Grade 3 teacher, personal misconduct. Yeah. Pulling that Dalai Lama stuff, huh? Hi, Georgia. Whoa, man, those chats jumped up on here. Ha ha. Yes, he soiled himself. Nikki said, hit the like. Ha ha. Hit the thumbs up. Did y'all forget to hit thumbs up when you went in? I don't know. I do that sometimes. I got to jump out and hit the thumbs up. I'll wait here for you. When you come back from hitting the thumbs up, I'll be here. Jerry Nadler. Yeah, I remember that. Oh my gosh, I should have got I could probably still get a clip of that and play that sometime. We were waddling around like a duck. Sideways. He's doing a sideways Nadler waddle. Jersey Joe, how you doing? Reba. So anyway, yeah, I meant to mention that I think that's the reason Joe's not going to the coronation, because they do not want him there. Because if he was of such an advanced age that the travel would be too much for him, what's he doing up in Ireland? And like Mr. T said, hey, he said, the world's blowing up. I've got pride in Ireland, and I'm not even leaving to go to Ireland because I think something bad is happening or going to happen. And here he is up there fooling around in Ireland. what kind of business they have to do up there. That's right, Ronald. How you doing, Ronald? Joe lied to DOJ lied to Congress. Might as well write Joe. Claimed he had nothing to do with it. Anybody with any sense of knowledge of how our government works, that a raid on a former president's home would not have happened with it, as Eric Trump said, the explicit permission of the current administration would not have happened. That's right, he did. Right in his pants on stage. And Nancy, she got that little wrinkle in her nose, looking at him like, what in the world? So anyway, so Mr. T followed up with some of the things he's been constantly putting out on Truth, and the other word is social. Hi, Lori. That one thing, the U.S. is out of ammo. And I had been seeing that not only the U.S., but NATO, the NATO countries, such as they call it the Bundeswehr, which is the weapons for the army. They keep track of everything, how many ATVs they got, how many tanks, how many planes, how many missiles. They've been saying since last year, hey, we're running out of stuff. And I talked about how the Italian president said that they said, why don't you give him some jets? And he blurted out, because we don't have any effing jets. That's why. So you got NATO that has stripped itself of its ammunition, and Trump's putting it out there that, hey, we're going to World War III and we have no ammo. It's not like you can snap your finger and create this stuff. Of course, we could have it ready, but hey, if something happens in a 24-hour period and you need 48 hours worth of weapons, there's a problem. And it has been constantly reported. Raymond Butters, how are you? Welcome aboard. It has been constantly reported that Russia has been outpacing, as far as shells being fired, has been outpacing Ukraine at least 3-1 and at times 10-1, with no sign of letting up. And the Ukrainians just do not have the artillery shells. They do not have, and for the weapons that we're sending over there, something, a howitzer that they have, when one of ours go over there, the shells don't fit. They got to send the shells too. So not only that, but the manpower is way down. That's right. We're out of fuel and ammo. And there was a report today that Saudi Arabia has been buying gobs. I'll repeat that. I'll spell it GOBS, gobs of oil from Russia and selling it to the West. And they make a buck, they mark it up, they make some money. And Russia is selling their oil at the same price as before the sanctions to Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is not subject to sanctions, and they sell it to everybody at a markup. So the West powers are still consuming Russian oil, but they're paying more for it. So that shows you how foolish and idiotic these sanctions are. That's right, I have to speak in code. Thank you, Dottie. I want to thank Hilarious, too. Where's Hilarious, too? She got me a coffee last night, and she bought me, I think, 5 coffees, and I didn't see the notification. Plus, I was preaching on my soapbox. Y'all can't see it. I got a wooden soapbox I stand up on when I get going. Keep the cat off my lap. But anyway, So they're getting around the sanctions 6 ways to Sunday. Putin is dragging it out for some reason. Well, what's that hallway in Quaker Oats? Coffee and a shot of bourbon? Ha ha ha! Looks like you're going to get a good night's sleep. About 3 of those, you'll be snoring hard. Ha ha ha! Where's gas? Life on gas is upside down. That's the way I used to put my smiley faces, upside down. So anyway, but I tell you, when I was sitting there listening to Mr. T, what he was saying, and he was talking about how he was dealing with President Xi, how he was dealing with the situation, how he dealt with Kim Jong-un, how he talking about the Ukraine conflict that never happened if he was president. Anybody that's keeping their brain working can see that this situation with the attacks on Trump during his presidency, which were constant from every angle, every news organization, every Hollywood person, every politician was getting the leg up in the algorithm in all platforms, constant attacks on Trump over fallacies, over a lie, over Putin and Russia, a lie to undermine and subvert his presidency. And any fool would know, after learning what we've learned, that all those lives would not have been lost, okay, over there just in Ukraine. And what is going to happen next? Hi, Lucy, how are you? But I will tell you this, I got a weird notification on this stupid little news site that I don't know how it gives me updates. That's right, Billy Byers, welcome aboard. Don't discuss Pentagon papers that were created to shut people down. It's propaganda. I'll address that later, but I will address it right now real quick. That part of that stuff that they're letting out with the Pentagon papers, I'll get to this report of mine that is meant to scare people, but they were talking this nonsense that a fisherman or some Ukrainian people in a fishing boat are the ones that blew up the Nord Stream pipeline. And Ukraine is saying that the information in these Pentagon leaks is baloney, and Russia is saying it's baloney. And they're at each other's throats. Okay? But they're both in agreement that this stuff that's supposed to be a big leak from the Pentagon is garbage. And it's meant to cover up. Because what happened to the pipeline, listen, you remember when everybody went nuts over the BP pipeline pulling raw oil, natural oil out of the earth, was supposedly leaking. Every day on the news, you saw a close-up picture of this black goo fluttering out of a hole. And everybody's, oh my gosh, it's going to turn into a big blob and roll through the ocean and smash against the coast, and the coast will be covered in oil. Oil is natural. Oil is organic. It erupts in the ocean by itself all the time. Remember the Beverly Hillbillies? Okay. Then one day he was shooting at a coon, and up from the ground come a bubbling crude oil, that is black gold, Texas tea. I mean, what are you going to do? Get Jed Clampett for destroying the earth because he took a pot shot at a squirrel and struck oil? That's what BP amounted to. But you remember the months and the aggravation and the billions of dollars that were assessed in the end toward the British people. The stockholders in BP are the ones who ended up paying for it right after we gave a kickback in bank bailouts, okay, to Britain. What's their bank that we have here? BB&T Bank. All those loans they insured, we bailed out and sent billions of dollars. British Bank and Trust. After that happened, oh my gosh, BP has an oil leak. Don't you know BP paid their fines by penalizing their shareholders, so the British public paid us back for bailing out the British banks. Just that simple, folks. I meant to get into that in another discussion, but so this Pentagon Papers is to break up this notion of a war crime and an environmental crime committed by this administration. Victoria Nuland saying the pipeline is exactly what it should be, a pile of scrap on the bottom of the ocean. She doesn't remember we have that on video. But they're claiming that some Ukrainians in a fishing boat did it. How big around was that pipeline? 4 feet around and a half a foot of steel buried in concrete? An engineering marvel? And 2 guys in a fishing boat, or however many people in a fishing trawler are going to blow that up? And that was refined petroleum, which is damaging to the environment, not crude oil from the ground. Hi, Diana. Impeachment papers filed against Mayorkas. Got to go through the Senate. Ha ha. Granny making lye soap by the cement pond. That's right. And she was making her cough medicine too. Don't forget that. She made some good cough medicine. Yeah, Nikki, aloe. Use aloe. My mom used to she'd break a leaf off the plant, use it right out of the plant. So anyway, I got a little off track there about the BP situation, but that's just a outline of how international fraud works. Okay, BB&T Bank, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and it all ends up coming out of the average pensioner who had stock in BP oil. Okay. Yep, that's right, Rick. He said he was going to shut it down, and son of a bits, he did. Well, did you see in my thumbnail, I put TransMission failed? If you'll notice, I put a capital letter at mission and a capital letter at trans before mission. In other words, there was a mission planned by a TRANS, right? It failed. Another one happened today. Have you all heard about that? Let me see if I can pull up some information on that. Now, how many of these things are we going to see or have to deal with before our news agencies start letting people know that there's a problem with this philosophy, okay? They can call it a philosophy, they can call it a religion, they can call it whatever they want. But it ain't normal. And that's using the literal term, the literal definition of the word in Webster's dictionary. Take one from 1975, because God knows what they got in there now. Take a look at it. What does normal mean? Okay. What we're dealing with is not normal. But there was an individual who, let me see what state it was. It might have been Minnesota, who I believe it was the janitor at a Christian school, college, came across some maps and some writings and things that were unnerving. And they turned this individual in, and that, you can't erase your accounts. You've got whatever accounts you have. You've got Snapchat, blah, blah, all this stuff. Anyway, it was concerning enough where they had this person arrested. He's in custody for suspicion. And all I can say is the last time a Christian school had a problem, the janitor got it, was one of the ones that got it, right? So last night I said, keep one eye open and the other eye rotating, keep your head on a swivel, see something, say something, because these people are dangerous. And I explained why. Because they're living in an unnatural state that breeds confusion and psychological agony. So this janitor was smart enough to keep his head on a swivel. Minnesota college student charged over cache of ammo and knives in a dorm. That's Minnesota. St. Olaf College, student charged. Okay, so apparently he had some items that he, was not lawful for him to have, plus diagrams, plans. Thank you, Donna. Make sure you come back and check them later. At least appreciate you stopping by. Anyway, let me see who else is coming I hadn't seen. Try to keep up. So anyway, so there was an alert janitor that turned this person in, and the crew that posted this story, I've had my thoughts that weren't overly positive about this person in the past, but I don't bring it up. He said, I don't want to say anything about how anybody identified or pronouns or nothing like that, because we don't know that. And it's not good. We got to think about maybe not pointing fingers or whatever, kind of soft pedaled the business. Well, I'll tell you this. He said that they wiped out all the social media for this person. Okay. Well, I'm not a dope. I know what that means. Okay. That means it was somebody in the counterculture. I'll call it that. It was somebody else in, I think Red was discussing calling it synthetic. It was somebody who was synthetic female, I could say facsimile female. Whatever term you prefer, facsimile. But anyway, while he's saying, well, we can't judge, nobody knows for sure, he's discussing how all the social media gets wiped out. Nobody can find out nothing, but there are a couple pictures of him. But in one that I'm looking at right now, he's got long hair going down his back, way down his back. Now, that doesn't mean nothing, because in the 60s, a lot of people had long hair. In the 1980s, remember the hair bands Remember the boy bands with all the hair, what was it, Bon Jovi and all that? But at least they had it puffed out where it looked like they were trying to make it look like a lion's mane or Kiss. You know, they had it all blown out everywhere. This guy's hair is combed down like Ann Coulter. Okay? He looks like he's got more product in his hair than Ann Coulter. So, no, I don't need to hold back on what my thoughts are. Big hair, big hits. Yeah, they did, Ed. What's the topic tonight? What do you want to talk about, Mike? I'm talking about a transmission failed. Car talk. This mission failed. He was on a mission and got discovered. So anyway, let me see what's going on in the chats. Hi, Robin. How are you doing? Autistic Mim, how are you? Welcome aboard. Sleeper cells. Well, could be. There is a rash. I'll have to write them all down. I mean, many of you have been through with me through every one. The 4th of July shooter had a dress. The one in Uvalde had a dress. You know, what do we got? A half a dozen or more that there's no denying. This one at the bank used the pronouns, and I don't know what the story is on this lawmaker that turned their own child in. Raymond said Biden transmission fluid. Yep, that's right, Mike. So anyway, now this business about Bragg, I've watched different creators talking about Bragg, and of course, we got this news that we already knew because we are the news. We knew already that Biden is supposedly setting up a social media army that's going to push forth his story. And so when you look at the news, a lot of the things that pop up your feed are going to be like Bragg fires back, or Bragg is suing Jim Jordan for interfering with his investigation and all this crazy stuff. Well, the bottom line is that from what everybody's saying, and Mr. T talked about it tonight on Tucker, what Jonathan Turley's saying, what Greg Jarrett's saying, what Alan Dershowitz is saying, what everybody who has credentials are saying, is that Bragg does not have a leg to stand on, that he has to answer. They have got more nerve than a bum tooth if they're going to sit there and say that Alvin Bragg does not have to come to a congressional hearing after what they did to the 45th president of the United States' own attorneys, own advisors, with not Congress, but with a committee, some goofy little committee that wasn't even formulated under the House's own rules. They put those people in jail. They confiscated their phones. And this little fat body, Pillsbury Doughboy, is saying, he's going to court saying that they have no jurisdiction over him, that they are singling him out. So we can see that that's ridiculous, and that their own tactics are coming back to bite them in the backside. and I'll quickly get off this and I'll come back to it. But Tucker Carlson said, what happens if you get convicted? He said that to Mr. T. And of course, I don't know how Mr. T keeps a straight face, didn't bust out laughing. But let's all remember, want to talk about tactics? Let's all remember this. Jussie Smollett got convicted dead to rights. Okay? His behavior could have sparked riots in this country. Okay? Injury, people being injured and loss of life, damage to property, all that kind of stuff. He's never been charged with the mysterious white powder. That guy, Jussie Smollett, guilty. Got told by the judge he was a low down liar. He's out on appeal. So their own tactics are going to come back and bite them in the backside. But the bottom line is that Alvin Bragg, and if there's somebody out there listening to me right now that can't stand Trump and wants all this foolishness to succeed, hi, Engine 10, how are you? Please listen to me. That Alvin Bragg is hanging his hat on a federal crime. That a federal crime was committed, and the acts that he's accusing President Trump of are supposedly to cover up this unnamed crime. And he says he doesn't have to say what that crime is, but it's a federal crime. He's making it a felony. That makes it the House of Representatives business. So, and the other thing that is my personal thoughts that Mr. Bragg might want to think about. Trump belongs really to the military. No matter what people think of him now, or what they think his station is now, he was the commander-in-chief of our military, the U.S. military. So they have a vested interest in him. I'll put it that way. From a legal perspective, also a national security perspective. That's why I was certain there was not going to be any abuse of him when he went to New York. Now, so Alvin Bragg is going to lose that. He's going to lose that. But what is he doing, whether he likes it or not? He's pulling some judge out of his chambers, making him put his robe on and get in the fight. This judge has got to show where he stands. Now, the judge may rule against Jordan and Team Trump or whatever, but he may be a white hat because it might be the next judge, an appellate court, that they want to show their colors. Okay? Whatever happens with this, it's going to end up at the Supreme Court in the end. That's why you have AOC attacking Clarence Thomas. Okay, wanting to impeach Clarence Thomas. So, of course, they got a flimsy bunch of garbage against him also. But that takes me to post number 11. Post number 11, that Mr. T, first one he ever put up on his own thread, and was one I discussed a week before Mr. T posted it. And I talked about it 3 months before that. What must be shown to have military intelligence take over essentially all the civilian intelligence agencies? What has to be present and shown? Okay. So I believe that a lot of the stuff is to root out. The fact of the matter is that we've got something so corrupt and so polluted that we're going to have intervention or oversight, and it does not have to be publicly announced. That's right, Dottie and Letitia Peekaboo. And that's another one. Peekaboo, Letitia. How you doing, Engine 10? We'll boomerang on them badly. Hi, Karen. Oh. Yeah, Van Zant or whatever his name is. He should stick with doing skits about the Sopranos or something, mind his own business. Yeah, he pulled his tweet down. Hi, Gloria. So we've got all this action going on, and so many players are being forced into the spotlight. I mean, you've got this one that is this judge that is handling the Trump case with Bragg. They mentioned that his daughter had close ties to Kamala. Right away, all the coordinated news agencies come out and say they're attacking the judge's family. They didn't say nothing when people were physically going down to Supreme Court justices' houses and raising Cain in the middle of the night, totally against the law. Nobody said anything about that. But if you show their political affiliation, and I was rude enough to go so far as to point out the appearance of mascara on this judge, hey, I think it has something to do with it. Okay, if somebody has these proclivities, it opens them up for a lot of things. It opens them up for blackmail. It shows that, if they're in a married state with a wife and they're doing something else or the wife doesn't know about or something with another man, hey, that causes psychological instability. You can't have people in positions of power and responsibility that have psychological issues, and that takes you straight to Fetterman. He's a psychiatric patient. That is not a pejorative. That's not an insult. People with depression to the level where they have to be involuntarily, they said it was voluntary, but if you got to be hospitalized for your depression, you can't go home. You're a psychiatric patient. You have psychiatric issues. And I mentioned that the Senate can either refuse or not refuse or accept fellow senators. Just because they won an election doesn't mean they're automatic shoo-in. Not a lot of people know that. For cause, other senators can reject seating a senator who's been elected. For cause. And that takes you to Tennessee, where they kicked out those two characters. They missed the third one by one vote. Now, the game is one of them they're sending back because their committee or whatever voted him in as the temporary, hey, the legislatures can take care of all that business. And if they tell you they can't, they're lying. And it just goes to show that if they're able to manage their own house under these circumstances, why have they let it go so far? For all these years, you have people out and out hostile to the Constitution, talking in ways about the President of the United States in ways that are downright subversive and to even the high point of the T word that I get in trouble for saying, right? They can be disciplined in each individual House of Representatives. They can be, each individual state house can discipline their own members, but they don't do it. This shows you that they can. And now we have a House of Representatives in our federal government that is thankfully taking the bull by the horns. And if this Tennessee character gets back in, that is only because of the Republicans in that Tennessee House are gutless. They can have the sergeant at arms shut that door and say, we don't care. We've said you're out for 2 years. I think he was 2 years of a suspension. It might have been a year, but no, it doesn't matter. You're gone for 2 years. It doesn't matter who sends you back. You can't come in. And if you try it again, then they can impeach him. State houses can impeach state officers. You have a state legislature, House of Representatives, and you have state senates, and they operate the same way with their impeachments. They can impeach state level judges. They can impeach state employees, like even if they're elected, a dog catcher, they can impeach. So when you have these things running amok, when you have people in positions of power, whether they're elected or not, and they got blue hair and 10 pounds of metal in their face, and they're pulling stuff, abuses of law, under the color of law, stuff like that, and nobody does anything about it, that shows you got to clean out your state house. Get Sadie to hit the like button, Sandy said. Ha ha. Oh my gosh, she was. I won't tell you all what she did. Nikki knows what she did. She's back healthy again. She's a little savage. Let her out right at dawn, and I guess that's good hunting time. So anyway, just looking through the chats real quick. So anyway, we had that transmission failed, and it's going to come out that it was a transmission. And then we have the news that 50 plus informants were revealed in the Proud Boys trial. They are at day 53 of the Proud Boys trial. And they've got over 50 people that were working with Fibby to set them up. And I'm looking for Hilarious too, but she hadn't come in. Well, if she watches the live stream later, thank you, Hilarious too, for helping me up last night with Buy Me a Coffee, and I really appreciate it. And Mary helped me out. Here we go. I'm gonna put up everybody that's helped me out. There we go. I got a link in the description if anybody wants to go help the channel out. It's viewer supported, and that's it. I don't get anything from any platform. So there you go. I got my link in the description. Let me see. And Mary helped me out last night, and Hilarious too helped me out last night. Ha ha! Thank you. So anyway, so we got these Proud Boy characters. I mean, these informants that were working against the Proud Boys. And there were also two characters that infiltrated Joe's Secret Service detail. Have you all heard about that? And they've been arrested. Hi, Mike 1176. two characters that have no law enforcement credentials at all, but they apparently have been serving on Joe Biden's Secret Service detail. So I don't know how you get around that business, or how that happened. But I guess we'll be hearing about it. Is that a counter up? I mean, are they that stupid, or has Biden really got top of the line Secret Service protection, or has he got second string or third string? It could be fourth string. Joe's paid mall cops as Secret Service. That's right, paid mall cops. So I had somebody message me, and I'm not calling out any names, and I understand. I read everybody's messages, and I appreciate everybody's messages. But the gist of the message was, do you think you're being a little too rough on the Dalai Lama? And I talked about him last night, and I don't think I was disrespectful. I said it was a hard thing to get around, a hard thing to justify. I don't know what he's going to do about that. And I made some noises of disgust, I guess. And I wasn't trying to be disrespectful or too hard on the Dalai Lama. But since the question is asked, I will say that what he did was inexcusable. And I heard the claims that the video was a deep fake. And I cautioned everybody a week ago, and about maybe 3 videos ago, I put the picture up of the Pope in a big puffy coat, and it said deep fake above that. And I said, they're going to try to start saying that the things that you see are deep fakes when they're really real. Be ready for that. They can tell if something's a deep fake or not. So sure enough, it came out that the video was real. He sat there, and in my mind, he abused that child in front of the world. And I put a picture up in my community tab. It's got the profile. You don't see a straight on picture of the child or the child's name or anything. But the bottom line is, he was abusive. And what he was doing, they said it was playful. I'm sorry, that is not. That was sexual. That's actual in nature. And I have read and heard the Dalai Lama's quotes concerning Christianity, the Muslim faith, okay? His views on religion altogether, I've heard them. And they are contrary, okay, to the God of Abraham and Isaac, okay, to the Father of Jesus, to Judeo-Christianity. What he's saying is hostile, okay, to that. And as far as I'm calling him His Holiness, I don't have any room for that. Falafel, how you doing? Yo, to you too. So with that being said, it was proven that they weren't a deep fake. And yesterday, the Dalai Lama apologizes after video shows him asking a boy to, quote, suck my tongue. His Holiness wishes to apologize to the boy and his family, as well as his many friends across the world, for the hurt his words have caused. His words, the spiritual leader said in a statement to his 19 million Twitter followers. 19 million. So it was more than words. So that addresses that. I wasn't trying to be too hard on him last night, and I'm not trying to make up for it by being hard on him today. I'm just answering a comment that I just don't. If it was a deep fake, yeah, I would be too hard on him. But the thing is, he actually did that, and to me, it's inexcusable. So there's another thing coming out about the New York Times. I talked about El Salvador super prisons last year. I did a story on mass arrests is what I put in there. I didn't realize it was going to be 63,000 people all at once, but it was. And then they built that supermax prison for 40,000 people. Well, you could tell the New York Times is scared, as Jack Posobiec put in Truth Social. New York Times is terrified of what is coming. And so NewYorkTimes.com put up, El Salvador decimated its ruthless gangs, but at what cost? In the years since El Salvador declared a state of emergency, the government has delivered a stunning blow to the gangs that were once the ultimate authority in much of the country. So they're asking, at what price was this action taken? About who knows what they're coming up with, economic costs, the humanitarian, whatever kind of garbage. Hey, they lowered their murder rate down to 0, okay? And as far as I know, it's still at 0. Yes, Diane, they should be being completed, GITMO, okay, or get some mo, adding 3 new courthouses, and put up a, that was another New York Times article. I might have a copy of that in my phone. So, yeah, they're beefing up Gitmo. They've been doing that, and there's been some major stories on it. Holy cow, I got to make sure I'm on the screen. You know how I knock myself off sometimes. I don't want to do that. I've held myself held on here for a while. Dems hold their convention in Chicago. Well, I remember the one they did in the 70s in Chicago. Cops were handing out wood shampoos. Okay, no, I didn't get a chance to listen to And We Know yet. But I'll be like everybody else. And then I'm coming from my hour. I don't want to keep everybody up too late. These 2 nurses that Florida healthcare nurses arrested and fired after live streaming themselves abusing a dementia patient. We'll talk about that some more tomorrow, but they've already bailed themselves out of jail, but at least they got arrested, and the woman is safe now. I guess you'll hear about that. They were live streaming how they were not being very kind to a dementia patient and mocking her and putting it up there for their friends on Facebook to comment about, and they were subsequently arrested. So there are all the other stories we've got. We can talk about a bunch of them tomorrow. I appreciate everybody who helped me out last week and everybody who helped me out last night with the Buy Me a Coffee link. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. So thank you for spending your precious time with me. This is Mountain Man, over and out.